Welcome to the Black Gay History Channel. Please share this video and subscribe to this channel for more captivating content. Humanity has been storytelling for thousands of years to retell human history as well as inspire the next generation. One of the oldest and treasured motifs in this age-old stories is the warrior, whose prowess at protection and dominance is both revered and feared. These stories still persist today. Until more recent years, most people left out the stories about warriors who loved other men throughout history and mythology, even though, back in ancient days, some societies were much more open to homoerotic stories and people. Many of these stories have persisted in modern times where sometimes black gay actors get to portray the warrior archetype on screen. So for your viewing pleasure, here's a quick list of 6 black gay warriors in film and TV. Marcus Macronus in Gladiator II. Denzel Washington has long been celebrated as one of Hollywood's most talented actors, and an enduring heartthrob to boot. So I was delighted to hear that in the media, Washington admitted that his gay kiss with another man was cut from the recent blockbuster historic action film Gladiator II, meaning that his character in the film was likely gay or bi. And in the film itself, I wasn't disappointed because it made clear that his strategic and manipulative character, Marcus Macronus, enjoyed the company of men and had many queer associates in the Roman royal courts. What the creators did get right about the real Marcus Macronus is that he did briefly rule the Roman Empire and that he was not born from a royal Roman lineage. According to HistoryExtra.com, Marcus Opellius Macronus was born in 164 AD in Mauritania Caesarensis, a Roman province in modern-day Algeria in North Africa. He was of Berber ancestry, and the historian and senator Cassius Dio described him as Moor by birth, end quote. So yes, the Roman scribes made it clear this Roman ruler was very much so black. What I think is even more epic is that I've also previously discussed on this channel how the North African Berbers were renowned for their celebration of gay relationships, and they were even known to have gay marriages before modern Islamic laws forced the traditions to die out. So Washington's Macronus being gay or bisexual is culturally relevant to the real character's ethnicity and culture. In this film, Marcus Macronus is a gladiator trader who takes a liking to the hero of this story, Lucius, who is captured soldier, forced into the gladiator pits. I started laughing out loud in the theater because it was clear to me at least that our boy Macronus was not only impressed with Lucius's fighting skills, he thought he was hot too. And as he was conversing with him about how to become free from gladiator fighting, there was some thinly veiled metaphors about milk and head that sounded so sexual to me, I just couldn't stop laughing at Macronus's thirst for Lucius. Though there were no outright gay relationships in the film, it was clear to me that many of Marcus's associates in the Roman courts were queer, including the evil twink brothers who sat on the Roman throne, Emperors Geta and Caracalla, who were terrorizing the Roman Empire with needless wars and human sacrifices. Senator Threx is one of Marcus's associates he colludes with throughout the film, and the two share lots of friendly kisses and are kiki like girlfriends throughout the movie. And I must say, I thoroughly enjoyed seeing Denzel queen out while chatting with his gal pals in the Roman parties. There's a moment in the film where the two friends reflect on an older Roman king who had a child but never preferred the company of women at night, and Macronus follows up saying, well, on some nights neither do I, inferring that yes, some nights Macronus wanted men in his bed. In this film, Macronus is a villain and has an epic fight scene with the gladiator towards the end of the movie. Achilles and Patroclus in Troy, Fall of a City. A popular ancient Greek story is the fall of the city of Troy, where Greek kings leading armies went to war over a forbidden love. Now, if you're familiar with the story of Troy, then you likely have heard about one of the most popular Greek historical figures, Achilles, a legendary Greek fighter whose expertise in the battlefield made him one of the most popular characters in Greek antiquity, and even his death became legendary. An Achilles heel would go on to become a commonly used phrase to describe someone's vulnerability. Though the character Achilles is part of the series from the first episode, his love story with Patroclus doesn't begin to ramp up until the fourth episode. British Ghanaian actor David Gyasi plays the dominant and skilled warrior Achilles, who begrudgingly supports Agamemnon in his fight against the city of Troy, even though he hates the king. If you're a Greek history enthusiast, then you may know that the love story of Achilles and Patroclus is a well-documented part of Achilles' elaborate narrative. Though some fans of Greek period pieces may not know this because usually this love story is watered down in other versions. In this series, both Achilles and Patroclus are played by black actors, delivering an interesting black gay love story to my TV screen I didn't even know I needed. Achilles' loyal sidekick and lover off the battlefield, Patroclus, is played by South African actor Lenor, and the two actors have great chemistry with each other on screen. Throughout the series, Achilles is usually playing his part as the heartless killer who can take on dozens if not hundreds of soldiers on his own at once, but when his lover Patroclus falls ill with a mysterious illness, we see a tenderness and caring from Achilles that he doesn't show anyone else in the show. We finally get to the good stuff when Achilles takes Patroclus and a captured Greek princess to the beach to train and test out his newfound health. Both Patroclus and Achilles begin to spar and wrestle on the beach as the princess watches on in adoration, which eventually leads to kissing in a passionate menage a trois. Now, if you know the story of the fall of Troy, then you know this tale is filled with a lot of star-crossed lovers and heartbreak, so you probably also know how the story ends for our heroes, Patroclus and Achilles. Pietro and Spartacus. If you're looking for muscular men, lots of full frontal nudity, homoerotic buddy jokes, and actual gay characters, then Spartacus is for you. Besides the homoerotic jokes, there is an actual gay couple in the first season, Pietro and Barca, an Egyptian servant and a Carthaginian gladiator who are captured and forced to work in the Ludus, a training camp for gladiators owned by the conniving and self-serving Roman Batatius. Though the series focuses on Spartacus, a newly captured gladiator who is forced into fighting in the gladiator colosseums for his supposed war crimes, Pietro and Barca are passionate lovers who share a cell at the Ludus, and all the other gladiators know that Petros and Barca are in love. Most of the gladiators are brutal to Spartacus, but he grows a soft spot for Petros, who goes out of his way to be kind to him during training. It was clear to me and the other gladiators that though Petros loved Barca, he also had a sweet spot for Spartacus. In a cute scene, one of the gladiators clocked the exchange between Petros and Spartacus saying, "Your boy fancies the Thracian, does he?" And Barca smugly replies, "My, keeps him well filled." I love that Petros is known to be an Egyptian, and surprised they actually cast a black person to play an Egyptian in a Hollywood production. Though he's a servant and doesn't do the fighting, his lover Barca is from Carthage, an ancient city that was once in North Africa, particularly in Tunisia, and has a reputation as one of the toughest fighters, called the Beast of Carthage. In the fourth episode of the first season, Spartacus comes back from a brutal battle and passes by Petros and Barcos' cell to see them passionately going at it. Petros giving Spartacus a devilish grin as Barca tugs on his hair. I lived for that scene. I was screaming. You could tell that Petros loved that Spartacus caught them. Ario Hoda in Game of Thrones. Diobia Opere is a gay British Nigerian actor who has starred and featured in many of my favorite action, fantasy, and horror series, including Game of Thrones, one of the most epic and critically acclaimed fantasy TV series in history. Besides being a part of such epic films and shows like Pirates of the Caribbean, Aliens, The Orville, and Independence Day, another is his role on Game of Thrones as Ario Hoda, the protector of the ruling Martell Prince in Season 5, 6, and 7 of Game of Thrones. I absolutely love the Game of Thrones series, so finding out that this badass character is played by an out gay Brit was an added perk. There were so many epic fight scenes, battles, dramatic relationships, and storylines in that series, and today Game of Thrones is one of the most awarded TV shows in history. The royal Martell family that ruled over Dorne created a sexually fluid society that was a prominent part of the Game of Thrones series, and Ario Hoda has several intense fight scenes protecting the Dornish royals, including a confrontation with Jaime Lannister, one of the best fighters in the series. Arya Hoda is the captain of the household guard at Sunspear for the Prince of Dorne, Doran Martell. He's originally from the free city of Norvos, where he was trained by the bearded priests. The captain is loyal, obedient, and confident in his martial abilities, and he has a bellowing voice when commanding his guardsmen. Ario usually stationed himself to the left of Doran Martell, Prince of Dorne, and he carried the prince gently when needed because the prince is disabled. Eventually, Hoda would lose his life protecting the Prince of Dorne against a coup within their own palace. The coup would eventually lead to Dornish people uprising against the Lannisters, who were sitting on the Iron Throne. Prince Lenor in House of Dragon. House of Dragon is a new spin-off series of the hit TV show Game of Thrones, with knights and princesses, secret magic priestesses, and even dragons. Game of Thrones made Dungeons & Dragons very realistic with sex, gore, and epic horror. This show mostly focuses on the Targaryens, particularly Princess Rhaenyra, a spunky young woman whose ailing father rules the Seven Kingdoms and is hell-bent on having male heirs to secure his family's legacy on the throne. Though Rhaenyra is his eldest and she can ride a dragon, a rare royal feat, Rhaenyra is forced to focus on marriage and finding a suitable husband because the Seven Kingdoms would never kneel to a woman to rule them. Enter Prince Lenor, a young man her age who she befriends, and who comes from a house closely related to and allied with her own, the Valerons. It's not long before Rhaena realizes that not only does she not really have an attraction for her betrothed, he has none for her either. In the first season, in the third episode, Prince Lenor not only begins to form an alliance with the princess, he expresses his true feelings for fear of having to marry a woman with his actual boyfriend, Joffrey Lonmouth, a knight in the court of the House of Valyrian. Another fun fact about Lenor is that he too owns and rides a dragon named Sea Smoke. Without giving too much away, heartbreak ensues when Princess Rhaenyra falls for a knight in secret, and the two complicated couples try to hide their true relationship ties before their wedding. But emotions reach a boiling point when Joffrey threatens another knight on behalf of his lover, Prince Lenor. Joffrey is killed in a massive brawl that breaks out at their wedding party, and the prince bitterly grieves his lover, with those in the court clearly picking up on the fact that Lenor loved Joffrey more than just a friend. Lenor goes on to marry the princess and raise her children as his own, but the drama that could break up the Targaryen family for good is the fact that many people in the court over the years begin to realize that her children aren't fathered by the gay Prince Lenor, but Prince Rhaenyra's knight and true love, Harwin Strong. What will happen to this blended and progressive gay family if their secret gets out? Princess Rhaenyra knows about Lenor's lovers, and obviously he knows the kids aren't his, but he still has raised them as his own, with the real father, Harwin, nearby. But if other people finally figure out their family's secret, it could take down the entire Targaryen family.